If you're catching the replay, please hashtag replay. This is Queso, if you don't know Queso. And he was going to join us on our live this morning because I'm not going to get ready this morning because it's too cold outside. It's too cold. So thank you for joining me, but make sure you hashtag replay. Good morning. I'm not in my usual spot. Me and Queso are hanging out on the couch. Diane told me to come early, so I'm doing what Diane says. See, I wanted to go live. I've been sleeping a lot. Hadn't you? See, I've been sleeping. It's about, I don't know, 7 minutes to 7. So I won't really get started until 7. I'm just going to allow people to join. Okay, so he's all alert today, isn't he? See, I'm the good baby. He's got tomato on his face. So if you see that red, he ain't bleeding. He's got tomato and he won't let me wipe his face. You know how kids are. He's like, you're not wiping my face. And the reason I'm sitting in here is because everybody in my house is asleep. But I do hear Shane in there coughing. See, I'm a good baby. See how calm he is? How tame he is? See all that tomato on his face? You got tomato. You got to let me wipe your face. You got tomato all over your face. You look like your mom doesn't take care of you, buddy. Looks like your mama doesn't take care of you. So Queso got a bath yesterday. Yeah, I know. Isn't it weird that Shane's in the bed? I think he's just wanting to be loving on the dogs. You hear him barking? I don't know what they're You hear those weenies. You hear those weenies. Shane's got them all wound up. Okay, we have a few more minutes. Y'all got your protein shakes. I got my Poppy. This is cherry limeade. It's starting to... Okay, so you can't go anywhere. So don't even think about it. It's okay. It's not my favorite. But you know, like I told you guys, I'm drinking these things because I paid for them. Hey, Queso. Don't you go in your shell. Are y'all freezing? I hear a bear. I hear a bear. He's taking the dogs out to go to the bathroom. We have 5 minutes. I have no idea what we're talking about today. It's hard for me. Like, I struggle talking in front of my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, when Shane's here, I feel like I can't, like, really be myself and just, like, let things roll off my tongue. You know, if somebody's sitting there listening to me, it's awkward to me. Like, sometimes if I'm in my house and I can hear my dad in there watching me, I'm like, please don't watch me. Like, don't do that. Like, I don't want to hear myself on the radio. You know what I mean? But it's just awkward. And then sometimes I feel like I can't truly say what I need to say because my dad's listening or Shane's listening. And I feel like it holds me back sometimes because I worry about, like things that I say, do I embarrass them or do I, but like, I feel like Sneed's Farmhouse needs to be my privacy. Like, because it's hard for me to talk. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's just awkward. You can't go anywhere. You're going to have to sit still and be a good boy. You want to go back to your bed. But it's hard for me because, like, when I talk about things I've been through, it seems odd to like my kids or Larry or Shane that I would talk about openly things that I have dealt with. And so it's like an embarrassment to them and they say it. And at the end of the day, I have to go where I'm led to talk about. Like whatever I'm led to talk about, I just talk about, whether it's embarrassing or not. I feel like it's something that I need to openly talk about because I feel like it's not me that just struggles with it, it's other people. And if I'm not honest, then I feel like that you feel alone. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so do you need some calcium? I think Queso needs some calcium. He's not getting calcium from the sun because it's. Oh no, Kayla, you lost your power. Oh my goodness. Luckily, we haven't lost power, but we do have backup. Hey, weenies. Oh, weenies are come up here and see Queso. Okay, we got 2 minutes. Do you want to come say good morning? Show Becky your hat. Look, Becky, look at Shane's hat.
Good morning.
Becky bought Shane that hat, and he's loving it. He is loving it. And Becky's not on here. I haven't seen her. Now the weenies are going to sit here and sniff. Hey, you be nice. You be nice. This is your brother. You be nice. You know who Queso is. Oh, good, Kayla. Okay, it is 1 minute until time that we go let loose. So I was going to talk about the first thing I want to talk about. Let's wait till 7 o'clock, just in case people hadn't had a chance to join. Shane, come here for just a minute. I have a question. I need to see you to ask you. You listening? I know. Just be nice. Pretend like you are nice. Pretend like you're nice all the time. Okay. If I had our generator out in the middle of the farm and ran heat lamps, how much would that probably cost us? Like if I ran heat lamps for
If you took one of my generators out there,
yeah.
oh shoot!
But we would have to have heat lamps in every coop, and we don't have enough plugs, right?
I can get enough. I could run.
How much would it approximately? Let's just say a half a day.
Probably running a half a day. It's 5. They run you probably about 5 to 10 gallons of gas a day. So gas is $2.79 a gallon times 10.
Why hadn't we done that?
Because I'm not buying 10 gallons of gas every day to run generators.
Well, let's get our calculator. How much would it cost? To what? Say $3 a gallon.
Okay.
And how many gallons for a half a day? Wait,
10 gallons.
So $30. We ain't got $30.
36. No,
Shane,
you don't.
Is it really that cheap?
It really just depends on how much wattage it pulls.
Depends on how much water. But see, this is what I'm gonna tell you something. What I worry about with generators or with heat. You tell me if I'm right. Tell me if you. Okay, if we go to, let's just say, we go to running a generator for the baby goats, and we run a heat lamp in there. First of all, you worry about it catching on fire. That is a huge risk. Is catching on fire.
Ton of hay because they're gonna play with the light. They're gonna knock it around.
Yeah, you worry about that. And then I would worry about the going from the warmth to the cold, like
their adjustment.
Yeah, their adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I worry about is the adjustment period. Because if you run, they're
no different than us. Just like a cow. Cow gets pneumonia, a goat gets pneumonia, or gets sick.
Yeah,
it's harder for them to get up and get going than it is us. Unfortunately, fortunately, they're built for weather.
Right.
So when you go to changing what their body temperature naturally does, and it changes them, that's the reason why they shed and they put on thicker fur and stuff like that. It's like Ruger standing in front of the heater last year because he got spoiled with heat blowing on him and he wasn't adjusted to the cold weather. And so we took him out in summertime. So now he's gotten adjusted. Look how much fuller, thicker.
Right.
So they put on fat for a reason. All animals do this. Some animals, some extreme cold weather, yeah, it kind of messes some of them up because they don't need to have enough feathers or their fur is naturally thin because they are hot.
And you have to understand that chickens' body temperature, I don't know about goats and stuff, but chickens' body temperature is 10 degrees higher than ours. Okay, their natural body temperature is higher than us human beings. And I saw someone post about
so heat lamps are good. Don't misunderstand that. Heat lamps are good. Certain animals do require or would require a little heat.
Like baby chicks.
Babies.
Because they can't regulate their body temperature.
That's correct.
Pigs.
Animals are built for the outdoors.
Right.
And they're built for summer climate and some are built for winter climates. And just like at your alpacas, and sheep, they put on tons of fur or tons of wool just because they're built for extreme cold weather.
And you you wouldn't think this, but like our cows and like Leroy, the donkey, they shed their wool to prepare for the winter. And then they get this really thick coat. Like Leroy. Do you ever feel like you just got peed on? Shine! I just got peed on by queso. Y'all gonna have to hang on just a second. Tell them bye. Say, I just peed on my mom. Or maybe it was somebody just. Golly. Hang on. That was a bad idea, wasn't it? It was a bad idea. Y'all gonna have to hang on just a second. Give me just a second. Kayla, talk to him. disgusting. Welcome to having a farm. Welcome to having a farm. Hang on, let me put my socks on. Jeez. Okay, so hang on. I should have known he would do that. I'm not very smart if you think about it. We should talk about this again. Okay. Let's try this again. That wasn't very smart. Okay, so if y'all join me for my last live, I talked about this healing pad that I've been sitting on. It's this. Okay. It is wafer thin. It's made out of alpaca wool. And I told you guys that we would check in once a week about it working. I will tell you this. It makes absolutely no sense to me. None. I don't understand it. I don't understand what's behind it. But basically, if I sit on this pad, I'm in zero pain. If I take this pad off and sit down on this soft couch, I start hurting. I don't understand it. I don't know if it's the softness of the alpaca wool. I don't understand it at all. But for me, I can't speak for other people. For me, when I sit on this, I'm good. And I have started sleeping with this under my spine. I can sleep all night long. I can even turn on my side, which I haven't been able to do, and sleep. And I'm fine. I don't know. I don't understand it. But if several of you ordered them after I talked about it, and I hope it does the same thing for you. But it's working pretty well for me. All right. So what I was saying is, so even with the chickens go through molting season to put on their winter coat. And then they go through molting season to put on their summer coat. Same thing with a cow and a donkey, goats. If you go out there during the winter, their coats are a lot thicker. Same with alpacas, a lot thicker than it is if you're out there in the summer. I know she's out of these. Y'all sold her out. Somebody said they're on Etsy for $350. The lady I got them from sells them for $30. But she is out of them. She's ordering more from her. She uses it from her alpaca wool. But anyway, I don't understand it. I don't know why I can sit on it and it doesn't hurt me. I have my L4 is messed up and it's causing sciatic nerve down my back of my leg. And when I sit on it, I'm in no pain. I don't understand it. It seems crazy to me, but it is what it is. All right. Let's see. What was I going to? Oh, I want to talk about something that's been in the works that I haven't really talked much about. So I have a new book that's in the works. And the new book is about people saying I'm not a farmer, because I get that a lot. And so my cousin that wrote my other children's book is writing this book. But basically, when I started Sneeze Farmhouse people were very judgmental of me because I was a city girl, and they would say, "You're not a farmer." And like, "You don't know what you're doing, Judy. That bull's going to kill you. You can't do that to alpacas. Your donkeys can't be with your goats. Like, Leroy's going to kill the baby goats." Everything, people become people that have farms. Um, I don't know why, but they think that, and this is not just one farm. These are farms in general. What happens is, it's almost like you become like you start telling people that they can't do certain that, like, if you have a cattle farm, okay, and your grandparents have had cattle farms your whole life, and it's kind of been passed down from generation to generation, and you've always done cattle, and then you come to Sneed's farmhouse to a petting zoo, and you see Dexter and Dee Dee in this petting zoo, and you see that the bull is intact. Well, what happens is, someone that's been in cattle business their whole life begins to be very judgmental of me having a bull in my petting zoo. And I've had several farmers go, "This one man chewed me a new one when he came out. He was here for a birthday party, and he pulled me off to the side, and he began to tell me that I basically had no business running a petting zoo." And he began to be very judgmental of me and being very judgmental of Dexter. And so that's just kind of what happens. So I wanted to write a book about people say I'm not a farmer. And basically, what the book is about, I'm just going to read you one of them. Hang on. It's to teach kids. Let me find my. Lord, I have recorded so much in the past. I'll just give you a little bit. People say Judy isn't a farmer because she had Broadway ambitions, but Judy didn't listen to what they had to say. Instead, she got on her knees and prayed. Then she went to feed her chickens. And then it goes into, people say Judy isn't a farmer because she doesn't drive a truck, but Judy didn't listen to what they had to say. Instead, she got on her knees and prayed. Then she went and swam with her ducks. People say Judy isn't a farmer because she always makes jokes, but Judy didn't listen to what they had to say. Instead, she got on her knees and prayed. Then she went out to milk her goats. People say Judy isn't a farmer because she doesn't know how, but Judy didn't listen to what they had to say. Instead, she got on her knees and prayed, and then she went out to love on her cows. And it just keeps going on and on. And the behind the empowerment of this book is, people, say that you can't do this, or people say you can't do this when you have cows or pigs or alpacas. They begin to tell you that you can't do things. But I have learned that, with me being a farmer, it's not something that I always desired to do. It's what God desired for me to do. I feel like Sneed's Farmhouse was definitely empowered by His will, because so much has unraveled with the farm and so forth. And I just wanted, and the book ends with. People say Judy is a city slicker and not a farmer, but she knows she is because every day she puts on God's armor. And so basically, it's saying that I know that things that are in my farm don't seem normal to a cattle farm, let's just say. But I'm not a cattle farm, I'm a petting zoo. So things are a lot different in my farm than, let's just say, someone that raises cattle for beef. My farm, my animals are around people every single day. And, I don't go to an off, I don't go to a job and away from my animals all day. You know, there's a big difference in my farm versus other farms because I'm here working at 24 hours a day. So I don't go to an 8 to 5 job and leave the animals in the farm. I'm here every single day. And I'm in the farm every single day. So there's a lot of things that happen in my farm that maybe not happen in other farms because people aren't around the animals every single day, all day long. So the book's coming out. I am in the process of my cousin's finishing in the book, and then it's going to the publisher, and I'm hoping it'll come out in the next year. So I'm really excited about that book because, you know, when I was young, my mom always had me in dance. I was in dancing from the time I was 5 years old. And I was on stage from the time I was 5 years old. If you're just joining me and learning about me, I'll tell you a little bit. Some of the people that have been with me for a while have heard this, but when I was in fifth grade, no, when I was 5 years old, you know, it's hard for me to have my glasses on because I'm reading your comments and y'all are talking about like chronic pain and y'all are talking about nothing that I'm talking about. And it's like, I'm going to take my glasses off so I can't read it because I get distracted trying to read your comments. But when I was in first grade, the school that I was in had a gong show. Do y'all remember the gong show? Like on TV, the gong show where it was a talent show, and if your talent was terrible by the audience, if they started going boo or something like that, they gonged you. And they had this big old thing and they hit this round, I don't know, and it gonged you. And so like when it gonged you, you had to stop your talent and walk off stage. Can you imagine? So my school, the Gong Show was a big hit TV show. So in first grade, my school decided to have a gong show. And I was in first grade. And I don't remember if it was my idea to be in the gong show or if it was my mother's idea, but it had to have been my mother's idea. It had to have been. My mother my mother loved to see me on stage, and it's funny because I love to see my son on stage. To this day, when he's on stage, like it's like a you sit in the audience and watch your kids sing and dance and act, and you're just like, that's my kid. That's my kid. As a parent, you feel so proud. So if I had to guess, it was probably my mother's idea to go, Judy, let's enter you in this gong show. So I did it, and I got up in first grade. And at the time, it was first grade through fifth grade. So that's a big age gap, right? And I'm competing with fifth graders, right? So I don't care. I have no fear on stage. I've had no fear on stage since I was 5 years old. Judy, let's sign you up for the okay, let's go. What am I going to sing and dance, you know? So I got on stage and I sang Tony Antonio song, Love Will Keep Us Together. Do y'all know what song I'm talking about? Love, love will keep us together. Think of me, babe. You know that song? Okay, so anyway, I got up and I sang Tony Antonio and I won the gong show. Yeah. So I have been on stage my entire life. And when I was in high school, I was in a dance competition and I won the dance competition. And I was, by winning the dance competition, I was able to go to the New York Christmas parade and dance in the Christmas parade. Look at this sweet baby. Look at this sweet baby. It was a real big honor. So mom had me in everything. And I can't remember why I was telling you this. What was I telling you this for? It's bad getting old. Can't remember what you were talking about. Well, there was a reason why I was telling you that. So basically, I've always enjoyed uh, getting on stage, dancing, but I never could sing. I know I won the gong show, but mom didn't put me like in voice lessons and stuff. And so like I never could I couldn't carry a tune. Get you some protein. And so the singing kind of died as I got older, and I just like would dance. Um, hang on, let me get my notes out. I've been, oh, I have a funny story to tell y'all. This is so funny. I wish my brother was here that we could tell the story together. Okay, so I found love at a young age. I was in 8th grade and I fell in love with this boy named Scotty. And we dated from 8th grade till I was a sophomore in high school. And everyone knew Judy and Scotty because I was a cheerleader and he was the quarterback of the football team. Okay. So we were the little popular, couple and all this stuff. Okay. So what happened was we broke up. We were in 8th grade. We broke up for like 2 days. Okay. I don't remember what it was about, but we broke up. And Scotty went to the movies with my next door neighbor. And I flipped my lid. Okay. I flipped my lid. And so I'm bawling my eyes out because Scotty has gone on a date with my next door neighbor. Okay. And my brother is like coaching me. You need to fight her. Okay. He's telling me I need to fight her. Okay. Let's see. How old are you in 8th grade? Shane, how old are you in 8th grade? Like 13? How old are you in 8th grade? Like 13? I think you're like 12 or 13 in 8th grade because I started driving when I was a sophomore. So that's 15, 16. So anyway, I was like 12, 13 years old. Okay. And my brother is trying to talk me into fist fighting my next door neighbor. Okay. I'm not a fighter, right? Okay. So he's like sitting me down, was like, you've got to fight her, Judy. You've got to. I'm like, I can't get in a fist fight. He's like, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. So my brother is like plotting me to fist fight my next door neighbor. Okay. So let me set the record for you. So my brother comes up with this plan and he's like, I'm going to invite her over to the house, Judy. And then you're going to fist fight her. And so my brother's telling me what to do. He's like, when she walks in the door, you're just going to punch her in the nose. Okay, I'm listening to my brother, okay? This is my brother that went live with me not too long ago. So he's like, you're going to when she comes in, you're going to fist fight her and you're going to punch her in the nose. And I'm like, Greg, I can't do this. So my brother's trying to pump me up, right? And he starts playing the Rocky song. And he's like running around the house going, come on, Judy, come on, come on. And he's like, come on, practice on me. And my brother's having me practice punching to the Rocky song. Okay. He's like pumping me up to get in a fist fight with this neighbor. And so I'm falling for it. Yeah. I'm a sucker. I'm a total sucker. So I'm like, okay, I'll get in a fist fight. And so he's like, I don't know. That was like the morning he was like playing the Rocky song and he was getting me to punch him. And he was like, no, Judy, you can't punch like this. You got to punch like this. And he's beginning to train me to get into this fight, to fist fight my neighbor. Right. So, all right. So here it comes. Here it comes. My brother calls her on the phone and he's like, hey, you want to come over? Do you want to come over here? And she's like, Yeah, yeah. I think he said, "Come over here to watch a movie or something." So he like plots this next door neighbor to come to our house. And I'm sitting there and I'm sweating. I'm just sweating, going, "Oh my God, I'm fixing to get in a fist fight." Fixing to get in a fist fight. So he gets her over there, and my brother starts playing the Rocky song with her there. Y'all, I punched her in the nose. I punched her in the nose, bloodied her nose. She goes running out the door. I'm like so upset because I bloodied her nose, and my brother's going, "Yeah, yeah." It's like going ballistic because I've gotten a fist fight. Can you believe I did that? I literally punched her in the darn nose. When my brother goes live with me again, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what he got me to do. Needless to say, she didn't go out with my boyfriend again. And my boyfriend and I ended up getting back together. But I was mortified because he went out with her. I was mortified. But yeah, I've been in a fist fight. That's the only fist fight I've ever been in my life. And she didn't hit me back, so it really wasn't a fist fight. I just punched her in the nose and bloodied her nose. I wish I could tell her I was sorry. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. Her name was Heather McKay. So if you know Heather McKay, that was her maiden name. So I don't know what her name is now. I'm sure it's not McKay. So if you know a Heather McKay, tell her that Aunt Judy's sorry for punching her in the nose. That was not nice of me at all. But I was influenced by my brother. Okay. I'm going to give you this scenario, and you tell me how you handle it. Okay, you're in the driver's seat of this car, right? Okay. And the passenger is, there's a passenger in the car, and the passenger begins to tell you how to drive. Like the passenger's like, "Hey, there's a cop up here. You better slow down. There's a red light. Don't go so fast. There's a red light up here." And they begin to tell you how to drive. Okay. Maybe the first time they say, "There's a cop, slow down," you're like, "Oh, thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know there's a cop up here so I can slow down so I don't get a speeding ticket." But the more they talk, like in the car, like if they're like say you're driving, they go, like they're scared that you're about to run off the road, or like they're very, you know what I mean? And the passenger of the car, okay, the passenger of the car is trying to give you advice. They're giving you their opinion because they don't want you to get a speeding ticket. They don't want you to get in a car accident. So they tell you these things not to be ugly, but they're telling you these things to help you so you don't get a ticket or you don't hit the car in front of you, or things like that. They think that they're helping you, but when you're driving and someone's telling you constantly their opinion, "Oh, there's a car, there's a," it makes you all jumpy and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because they're telling you they're constantly thinking that you're going to fail at driving, and maybe they're fearful of their own life. I don't know, but I talk about when you put your opinion on people. And that's how I was thinking about, like, me in the driver's seat. I'm in the driver's seat, and people are giving me their opinion about, let's just say, my farm or the way I raise my kids. Like if someone's telling you how to raise your kids, okay? If that was my kid, I'd bust their tail. And maybe you don't believe in spankings. And then the person sitting there goes, "That's what's wrong with this world. These kids are not getting their butt blistered. And that's why they act a fool, is because these kids don't get their butt blistered." And then that triggers you because you do not believe in spankings. Okay. So then that's a trigger to you because you're upset because they're throwing their opinion on telling you how to raise your kid. You get me? You see how this can cause a problem? And the person that's telling you, listen, listen, the reason these kids are doing drugs today is the parents. It is the parents. These parents aren't parenting right. They ain't at home, and they ain't parenting their kids right. Like people say that, and so then like if you're like, let's say that you're a parent that's raised your child in church, and you've raised your child to learn right from wrong, and then someone over here says that's what's wrong with this world today. These kids, they don't have the discipline like we had when we were young. If they'd whoop their tail and take them to church, they wouldn't do drugs. Okay, so that is an opinion, right? And when someone says their opinion, it can trigger someone that doesn't think like them. Are you getting me? So I've noticed that in my life, I'll give you an example. So my son sent me my son hasn't really found his career job yet. Okay, he's been he was teaching last year. He graduated Troy with a bachelor. He got a double bachelor's. He got a bachelor in education and a bachelor in theater. And he taught theater last year for 5th grade, and it was a nightmare for him. And he realized really quickly that 5th grade was not what he wants to teach. So I said to him, if you're going to be in education, you probably should go back and get your master's, because you're going to live in poverty if you just live on a teacher's salary and you live by yourself. Like you're never going to have anything extra. You're always going to have to work 2 jobs. So why don't you slow down a minute? Why don't you just work a fun job and go back to school and get your master's so that you can teach on a higher level for kids that are more mature. Sorry, they're more mature. And because my son wants to teach theater, he doesn't want to teach because kids are made to go to theater, because it drove him crazy that they were not serious about being on stage and learning and acting. So he realized that he needed to teach a higher level. So my son has gone back to school and he's working. Okay. So he sends me this job description there's a job in Birmingham. Okay. So he sends me the job description and I began to give my opinion. He didn't ask for my opinion. All he did was send me the job description. And as a parent, the first thing that went through my mind is, how much does it pay? So as a parent, that's what I did. Now, first of all, keep in mind, my son is 25 years old. He's not a kid. So he sends me this and I begin to form an opinion. And I say, how much does it pay? And he begins to tell me. And I said, what? In my head, I was like, you have a freaking bachelor's that I literally killed myself to pay for to get you through school, and you're going to make this much money? And he was like, Mom, you are so negative about everything I send you about when it comes to work or money. And I was like, no, son, I'm not. My job as a parent is to guide you in a right direction. And my job as a parent is to make you look at all the situations that you can be in, because the last thing I want you to do is to move to another city making this much money and you're never going to have anything. And he began to tell me I was throwing my opinion on him. I tell y'all about throwing your opinion on people. And that is exactly what I was doing, because I was like, what is he thinking? Like, does he understand that he is going to live in poverty making this much money? And he's worth so much more money because he has a double bachelor's. Okay. He's very smart. But when you throw your opinion on people, you piss them off. So I had to stop myself and go, okay, let me break this situation down. You know how I tell you that I break things down? So I got off the text message with him and I was like, oh, shoot, Judy. You just threw your opinion. You threw your opinion. And I threw my opinion because I'm still trying to parent a 25-year-old kid. I say kid, adult. I'm trying to parent a 25-year-old adult because I don't want to see him fail, right? But see, at the end of the day, people don't want to know our opinions. He didn't ask my opinion. Just like if you're driving down the road, hey, let me know if you see a cop. Hey, if I am driving too fast, please let me know. Hey, if I scare you to death and about hit this car in front of us, let me know. Do we say that to the person that's driving with us? No, but they begin to give us their opinion about how we're driving, what we're doing. Why are you in this lane? Get over there. And it pisses you off because people are giving your opinion. I piss my son off because I began to try to form an opinion about a decision that he was thinking about. So I was like, okay, I got off the phone with him and I was like, okay, let me break this down. What is he trying to tell me? What is he trying to, what does he need from me? So I decided that from this point on, I'm going to say, are you wanting my opinion? Are you just talking? Do I say that? Because as a parent, we form our opinion quickly. I don't care what age they are. I don't care what age they are. You form an opinion about what your kids do, and you totally tick them off when you begin to give your opinion to them. They really don't want to know your opinion. They really don't. Just as if the driver of the car doesn't want to know your opinion about how you're driving, right? So I realized real quick after I got off the phone with him, I had to apologize for forming an opinion. And I had to say, okay, I was trying to steer you in the right direction because, of course, the way I think is right. Okay, so I form my opinion to you because I am your mother, and everything I tell you to do, you should obey because I know what I'm doing because I'm 52. I've been there and done that, right? That's how we think as a parent. We do. We think our opinion is correct. If they would just do what I tell them to do, then they would not get in the trouble they get in. That's what we tell them. And so I realized when I got off the phone with him, I called him back and I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know why I think I'm always right. I'm really, really sorry. He goes, well, Mom, this job is what I want to do for my living. And what he wants to do, oh, this drives me crazy. What he wants to do is he wants to be a theater director in a theater. That's what he really desires to do. He doesn't really desire to be in a school setting. And for me, as a parent, I'm like, then why the crap did we go to school for 4 years to get an education degree? But see, he has to have that education degree to be able to be a director in a theater because it's all about education. Okay, I didn't know that. So this job that he sent me here in Birmingham is a job that is a theater director job, but it's on a much lower scale as far as pay. But in his brain, he's like, if I can do that job and go get my master's, then I can get to where I want to go. Okay, did I listen to any of that when he said that to me. No, all I saw was a job description. I saw how much it pays, and I was like, this is a dead end. That's what I formed that opinion when I didn't see the big picture. But the big picture is he has to take stepping stones to get to where he's going. Because when you first get out of college, it's not like because you have a degree, you're going to get this great job. You have to take steps. And in education and theater, it's like you have to earn your rights to get to where you're going. It's not like you have your master's and you can go straight into college and teach college. You have to work your way up. And so I didn't listen to the big picture. I just formed my opinion right off the bat. And all I did was make him mad. And so when I form my opinion, that's telling him that I don't believe in him and I don't believe in what he's doing. You see where I went wrong in this? So that's why I talk about forming opinions to people, because at the end of the day, I've said this before, but let's just say this is a picture. Okay. Let me actually go get this picture. Okay. I'm going to give you another example. I'm going to talk bad about my best friend for a minute. So my son, this is Rusty and Rolly. Rusty passed away a couple of years ago, but he was my baby boy. Okay. And my son had this professionally painted for me after Rusty had passed away. But the picture, so this is the picture. And so I went and had it framed. And I called my best friend on the phone and I said, look how beautiful. I'm so excited. She went, did you frame that? And I said, yes. And she was like, that frame looks awful, Judy. And I said, why? And she goes, you're cutting Rusty's nose off. Okay. So she began to form her opinion about my frame. Her and I went about a year and a half without speaking over this picture because she made me so mad because she formed an opinion about what she thought my picture looked like. So I'm calling her on the phone. I'm like my son sending me the job description. He's like excited about this job opening. And then I slam him to the floor when I say, you're not making enough money. I slammed him to the floor, just as if my best friend, when I'm so excited about my painting, forms an opinion that she doesn't like my frame because I cut Rusty's nose off. Okay, what my friend did not know is this painting was made from a picture. And if I showed you the picture, which I don't have anymore, this is how my picture was. And the artist drew the picture exactly, or the painting exactly like the picture. And in the picture, the nose is a little cut off. So the frame actually has nothing to do with the nose being cut off. It's the actual picture. But she began to form an opinion about my picture and being framed and how terrible it looked. And it made me so mad that because I was so pumped up, excited because Rusty had passed away. And when you have an animal that's passed away and then you get something sentimental like this, when you have an animal pass away and then you get something sentimental like this, it's when someone forms an opinion and tells you that your frame looks ridiculous because you cut your animals. He is trying to get in my shirt. You see this? He's trying to get, God love him, he's freezing. But she formed an opinion. And that's what happens when you form opinions about people. When your best friend says, look at this new hoodie I got. Is it not cute? It is so warm, this color. Oh my gosh. And they go, that hoodie's too big for you. You're like, really? Like, really? That's not what I was wanting to hear. As if my son, when he sent me the job description, do you think he was wanting me to hear, you need to take the salary? This is what I told him. You need to take the salary, divide it by 52 weeks in a year, and subtract 30% for taxes, and see if you can live off of it before you make a decision about that job. That's what I told him. And he went, I made him crash and burn because he was so excited about this job opportunity. And then I crushed his ego telling him that he couldn't afford it. You see? And sometimes when I say, look at this hoodie, isn't it cute? I'm asking you, is it cute? Do you think I'm wanting you to tell me that I look ridiculous in this, or I look fat in this hoodie when I say, isn't it cute? No, I am not wanting you to cut me down because I'm thinking my hoodie is really cute. And when you begin to form an opinion about you think my hoodie is too big for me, I'm mad. You get me? So that's what happens when you form opinions. And listen, I'm not telling you that I'm the master of not giving my opinion, because I'm reminded often, you're giving your opinion. You're giving your opinion. You're giving your opinion. And especially to parents, when other parents begin to tell you, if that was my kid, I would. Well, it ain't your kid. Get your opinion and yourself. I just, like, maybe your best friend's just needing to vent about her kids disobeying. My kid is driving me crazy. I have grounded him. I have spanked him. I have taken things away from him. I have put him in timeout, and it is not working. Then this person begins to form an opinion. Okay, well, this is what you need to do. As if she's the king of mothering, right? What you need to do is A, B, and C. And if you do exactly what I tell you to do, it will work. Seriously. Seriously. So that is what I really wanted to talk about this morning, is forming opinions. And I talk about it a lot. And I talk about it a lot because I struggle with it myself. I do. I start forming opinions really quickly when people say things, or my kid. I really start forming an opinion with my children. And I say children, my adult children. I form opinions really quickly. And if they don't ask you, if you have adult children and they have not said, Mom, Dad, I need your honest advice. I'm in this situation where I need to do a job transfer and it's in another state. What do I do? Be very careful, because even though they say, I want your honest opinion, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So what do? What do you say? You know, I have a sponsor. I go to counseling, but I also have a sponsor. I have a sponsor because I had to go learn how to deal with addiction. Okay. Because I was staying up at night, like worrying about my family members, and it was eating me alive. It was robbing me of my joy, and I had to go learn how to get out of their business. And my sponsor said to me, what if I told you that it's none of your business what your kids do at 25 and 26 years old? And I was like, let me tell you. I was so mad at her when my sponsor said that to me. She said, Judy, it is none of your business what your 26-year-old kid is doing or your 25-year-old kid is doing. It's none of your business. Your opinion does not matter to them. And I was like, let me tell you something. Because I am very strict. Okay, my kids are drinking age. And I said in the beginning of my working on addiction problem with other people, I said my kids will never drink anything nor smoke in front of me, ever. I don't care if they're 52 years old. They will not drink a beer in front of me. Do you understand me? I'm strict. And she goes, what if I told you that it's none of your business what they do? Now, if they're at my house, they have to respect what I feel. But do you think they want to, let's just say it's the Alabama-Auburn game, okay? And my kids drink, let's just say. They're not drunks, they're not alcoholics, but they like to drink. And I invite them over to the Alabama-Auburn game. I'm going to have snacks. And they want to drink a beer. And I go, you're not drinking at my house. Do you think they want to come to the Alabama-Auburn game and watch it? And I'm like, I don't give a rat's butt. They're not drinking at my house. And I had to learn that. I had to learn how to deal with that. I have a lot of PTSD because my dad was an alcoholic. And so I have a lot of I won't even let them say a bad word in front of me. Like if they say a bad word and they're 25 and 20, I still go, stop it. I will wash your mouth out with soap. That's what I was doing. So my sponsor said to me, when they call you or they send you a job that they want to apply for, how should you react? And I'm like, well, I reacted because I formed an opinion about how much money the job made. And I basically said it was a dead end. And she goes, why don't we try this approach? Okay, this is what she said to me. Why don't you try, you are very smart. You always seem to thrive no matter what you do. And if this is the job that you think you need to take to get you where you're going, I'm going to hold your hand through it. You're smart enough to make your own decisions. And I mean, if you're asking me my opinion is just write it down, write the pros, the cons down, and figure it out yourself. But I trust you to make your own decision. Now, if I said that to him, instead of forming my opinion, telling him that it was a dead end and it didn't make enough money, if I would have said those words to him, you're smart. You can make your own choices. No matter what you decide, you're going to get through it. Because he does. My son is a survivor. My son is me made over. Okay. He is me made over. He never fails. Like sometimes he'll make a decision. I'm like, oh my gosh, what in the world is he thinking? But he always gets through it. And so if you encourage your kids to go, you know what? You are smart. You were raised right. You can form your own opinion. You do what you need to do. You are a survivor. You are a warrior. You can do it. If this is what you need to do to get where you're going, because sometimes you need to take a step back to go 2 steps forward, right? To get the experience. I should have done that. But instead, I began to form my opinion and I just pissed him off. And we do that a lot. So be careful when people tell you, especially your children, okay? If you have adult children and you're like me and still form your opinion, don't do that. You really make them mad. Give them confidence. Say, you know what? You can do anything you set your mind to. You're smart. You got through college. You've been living on your own for 6 years now. You got this. You got this. You got this, boy. Let's see how the difference is. Instead of like forming our opinion and throwing it out there and just making everyone mad at us and causing your friendship to shut down for a year because you formed an opinion that you thought our picture looked terrible when you didn't even know that the picture was like that out of the frame. You see what I'm saying? I hope I said something today that can help you. If you have adult children and you think their life is a dead end, it's not. They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. Even if they are at a dead end right now, you know, they figure it out. They're actually really smart. You raised them. You know what I mean? You raised your kids. They have to write their own story, right? They have to write their own story. Their story is not the same story as yours. And if you stop yourself, I have to do this very often. When my kids do something, I have to stop myself and go, what were you doing at 25? Then I suddenly go, oh, my kids are so good. My kids are so good. Oh my gosh. They're so much better than I was at 25. I was a total train wreck at 25. You know, I was a train wreck. So I have to remember that I have to go back to where you have to stop yourself before you start talking. Stop yourself and go, okay, how old are my kids? They're 25. Well, what was I doing at 25? Well, I got married to the wrong person. I was having financial trouble and I wasn't pregnant yet. I got pregnant when I was 26. So I married this guy and it was absolutely miserable. Then I ended up having kids with him. At least my kids ain't doing that. At least my kids hadn't gone out and married some guy just to rescue them to get them out of the house. You know, they're doing a lot better than I did. You know? So stop yourself before you start talking to your children. Stop yourself before your friends start telling you, well, you need to spank their tail. Maybe you spank, and that's good. I spanked. I spank my kids. I'm not saying that spanking is wrong. But, if you start talking to your friends when you parent totally different, one spanks, one doesn't, let's just say your best friend's kids they're in high school and they're starting to drink and do drugs, let's just say. And you're that person. It's the parenting. Those daggum parents. You want to blame it on the parents? No, it ain't. No. Stop. It's don't do that. Don't start blaming parents. Don't. There's kids that were raised in a good Christian home, went to church, that kids go off in left field and it has nothing to do with the parents. Now, there are probably situations where kids have been in bad situations their whole life and they hadn't made the best choices because the parents don't make the best choices, but don't do that. Don't do that. When you do that, there's parents you're truly hurting, because there's parents that blame themselves, that wonder, oh, if I'd have done this, they wouldn't do this. Or if I'd have done this, they wouldn't have done that. They blame themselves. So don't do that. And be careful about throwing your opinions around. Be careful. And the second you start finding yourself giving your opinion, just say, like, if you're on the phone with your kids and you're like, when they sell you something, you're like, this is the stupidest thing I have ever heard in my life, what they're fixing to do. Like, they're fixing to do what? They're going to buy this? Like, what the heck? That is a train wreck. Go, hey, I got supper on. Let me call you back in 10 minutes. And get off the phone with them and go, oh my God, this is a total train wreck. This is a total train wreck. And then go in there to your spouse and go, you ain't going to believe what this kid's doing. And then pick up the phone 10 minutes later and go, I trust that you're going to make the right decision. I trust that you're going to, you are smart. You're good and you're good. You can do this. Just, you know what I mean? That's what they want to hear. They want to hear that they can do it, even though you don't agree with it. But keep your nose out of their business if they're 25 and 26. Let them write their own story, even if it's a total train wreck and you're thinking, this ain't going to end well. You're going to have to sit on the sidelines and zip your trap and let them write their own story. Because I promise you, if you could sit down and have a conversation with your mother right now, like if I could have this conversation with my mother right now and go, when I was 25 and made the decision, wait, let me back up. The first time I got married, I was 23. So if I set my mother down and said, Mother, when I came to you and said that I was marrying this drug addict at 23 years old, what were you thinking? My mother would have said, Judy, it was a total train wreck. I was freaking out when you were wanting to do that. Because, see, I could change him. See, if I marry him, he'll get off drugs. I'll change him. I'm good like that. I can change him. No, you can't. You can't change anybody but yourself. So just know that. Just get yourself in your parents' shoes and go, when you were 25, what were you doing? You know what I'm saying? And then you realize your kids are really doing well. All right, I got to go do animals. It's 8:00. I hope I said something to you parents that deal with adult children. I hope that you can relate to me, and I hope that you can learn to zip your trap and let them write their own story because they need to. How are they going to learn? All right, guys, you have choices today. Today's Wednesday. It's hump day. You can sit it out or you can dance. And today, I hope you dance. I will see you. It'll probably be a surprise live, but I will see you. We're still iced over. Shane and I can't go anywhere. We can't get out of our driveway. We can't get off our street. We are iced in. But it's supposed to clear up Thursday. So hopefully will be better Thursday. I checked on the animals this morning. They're fine. Everybody's good. This afternoon, I plan on letting everybody out of the barn, but I'm going to leave them in because it's 7 degrees here in Alabama. It's very cold. All right. Okay. Have a great day. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.